full stack e-commerce store with full authentication, full payment system using Stripe, and an admin dashboard using Sanity IO. It was built using Next.js 14. So here is the main homepage. You can see your products. So I'm going to build this beautiful landing, sort of like landing page. Yeah, you'll be able to go to the cart. You'll be able to go, so it has an order like inventory management system. Yeah, I'm using authentication using Clerk. You'll be able to learn how to do that. You'll be able to learn how to set public routes. So let's say I like this painting, we open, and then we can see the details. So this is the detail page. It's using server-side rendering. That's why you're seeing that all these pages are opening very quickly. And then let's add something to the cart. Then we can see we added this to the cart. Let's add this to the cart. So yeah, we're using zustand for the global state to maintain the global state for the cart. Yeah, we can increase the quantity. And then finally, let's add this. We go to our cart, and then you can see we've added all these products to the cart. We can remove something that we don't want. So let's say we don't want this painting. We can remove it, and then the payment is going to, the total is going to reflect, and this will also reflect. It's also implemented with Stripe. And then check out. So now it's processing the payment with Stripe, and then once the payment, then we can see the payment was successful, and then we go to the order page. So this is the order management system. It's going to tell us that our payment was a success, and then yeah, to confirm that, we'll come here to see if our payment, so this is Stripe. You can refresh Stripe to see if the payment was indeed a success. So whilst that loads, I can continue the demonstration. So here we'll see it's in transit, meaning that it's on the way. And then we can see that the payment was a success in Stripe. You see here the 1.7 that we just did here at 1:30. That's the current time. So that was a success. And then yeah, so this is the backend system, the admin dashboard. You come here on orders. And then yeah, you see these two orders, the blue and orange religious painting. Then you see them here in the admin dashboard. Okay, then here is paid, but it's not been delivered. If we deliver, we publish. Then we can come back here, we refresh. Then you can see the status changed to delivered. So yeah, that's a full inventory management system. So this one hasn't been delivered yet, and yeah, it's also showing that it hasn't been delivered yet. Perfect. So yeah, this management system also allows us to be able to add products. As you can see, all the products that are in our store, they are available here. The blue and orange that we just bought is also available here. And then we can change even the price. So we can say, okay, from 400, that's a bit too much. Let's put 100. And then on title, we can say blue and yellow. Then we can publish that. We come here, then we refresh. Then you see everything has changed, even the price has changed. So yeah, this is a full system, you're going to learn everything that it takes to build a full e-commerce store. We're using Next.js 14. You're going to learn how to do server-side rendering. So here the main page is doing server-side rendering. All of this is being rendered on the backend, on the server, and then we're just getting the HTML. That's why you see everything on this application is very fast, even on this page. So this slug is being sent to the backend, and then it's fetching on the backend, and then here it just sends us the information. Also on the order page. So that's why you see everything, as we just click, everything just opens. So yeah, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how to create a shopping cart using zustand. So zustand is a global state manager like Redux. But yeah, you're going to see that zustand is way easier than Redux. So yeah, let's just add some stuff to the cart. And you see how fast everything is. It's a very beautiful application. And then yeah, you can remove from cart. Yeah, also it's mobile responsive. So here you can see it's mobile responsive. Yeah, everything is mobile responsive. The cart, the order page, everything is mobile responsive. Yeah, so this is what we're going to build. Let's jump right into the video. But before you start watching the video, please like, comment, subscribe. This also keeps me motivated to keep making more videos. Thank you guys. Jump right into the video. Okay, so you want to head over to nextjs.org and then you want to click get started, installation. Then you want to open a terminal, cd into your desktop or whatever folder you will want, paste in this command and then press enter. Then it's going to ask you all these questions. So what is the name of the project? You pick the name, then you press enter. Would you like to use TypeScript? So for this project we're not going to be using TypeScript, so you pick no, press enter. ESLint no, press enter. Would you like to use Tailwind? Then yes. Would you like to use source directory? No. Would you like to use app router? Then yes. Then no, no, then enter. Then it's going to install for a few minutes. Then once it's done, open the code in VS Code. So here I have the code open. We open our package.json, then you can see Next.js version 14. It's using the new app router. Open your terminal, then you run npm run dev. So it's going to be like this, npm run dev. Press enter, then it's going to write something like this: local, running on localhost 3000. Open this in the browser, and then it's going to show you something like this. Okay, so yeah, that's what I have so far. So once you get that done, we're going to start cleaning up. So there are some files that they give us. So this page.js is all of this that you're seeing, this Next.js file that you're seeing. So we just want to delete everything, then make a new component. So that's what we want to do, and then delete. Yeah, okay, then perfect. We refresh. Then we want to go into global.css, and then there are some styles that we want to remove that Next.js gives us by default. Save, and then yeah, we get a blank page. So these are the styles that we wanted to remove, these grid lines. So yeah, it's compiled, and then you see we have a clean project. Okay, so let's get started. So what we want to do first is to create a folder called components. Then inside this components folder, we want to create a file called header.js. Inside this file, we just want to create a basic component, and then we want to import the header. So the header, we want to import it here. So it's going to be a header component, and then we import it up here. Save that. Okay, then you see here it says header. Perfect, that's what we want. And then inside our header component, okay, so let me go to my files. So I have this logo and this favicon. So I'm just going to copy this. So you can use whatever logo you want, whatever favicon you want. Then I'm going to go in the public folder, and then I'm going to paste the logo in the favicon, copy the favicon, and then go into my app, delete the default favicon, then paste in my one, and then yeah, should be good. then save that, and then let's start working on the header. So we're using Tailwind CSS. So the header is going to have a padding of 3, then it's going to have a border bottom of 2, then it's going to have a border, then we're going to pick an arbitrary color, which is going to be 5 F3 FF. It's going to be something like this. So it's going to be like a type of purple. Perfect. And then inside the border, we're going to have another div. So let's just get rid of this first. We're going to have another div, class name. Then we're going to give it a max width of 7XL. So we want our header to have a max width. So the color is missing an F, so it's F5. Yeah, then you see it gets the color. So it's F5, F3, then FF. Yeah, perfect. And then we want the contents to be flex. Then we want justify between. So justify between is saying that inside the header we want a space in between the contents. So that's what it's just saying, so that we can have content on the left, content on the right. Okay, so here we have another div. So this will be the content on the left. Then we have another div here. Then this will be the content on the right. So we can say right, then here we can say left, save, and then see what it looks like. Okay, perfect. So here we have the content on the left. Here we have the content on the right. Okay, so for the content on the left, we want it to be flex and then item center. So we want it to be flex because we want to have an image. So it's going to be a Next.js image, and then inside that image, so it's going to be something like this. And then so for the width, it's going to be 50. For the height, it's going to be 50. And then the out will be logo. Then the source, remember we put it as the name is logo.png. And then yeah, that's good. Let's close this so that you can see properly. And then in here we want an H1, and then this H1 is going to say the name of the shop. So I'm going to call it as Artistry Market. So that's the name that I picked. You can pick whatever name you want. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. And then we want that to be a margin left so that the logo and the text can have a bit of spacing. And then the text is going to be 2XL. And then on large devices, the text will be 3XL. So the text is going to be 3XL, and then the font will be bold. And then let's save that and then see what it looks like. Okay, let's just wait. Let's see if why the image is not showing. Okay, let's open this compilation error. Let's open this. Okay, so it was just loading. Yeah, because I think the image is a bit too big. It's about 2 megabytes, but then yeah, for a logo that's a bit too big. That's why it took a bit of time to load. But then yeah, we see the image, we see the logo, and then on the right side we have some content that we want on the right side. So on the right side we want a shopping cart. We're going to want the login icon. We're going to want the icon for orders, but then for now let's just put the shopping cart. So to do that, we come here, and then we want to come here where it says React icons. All right, so this is what we're going to be using for icons. Copy this command, Then come in here, open a new tab, and then once it opens, paste the command, run it, and then it's going to install React icons. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Whilst it's installing, we can search cart. So because we want a shopping cart, and then we want this one. Perfect. Then it even tells us how we can use it, how we can import. Okay, it's done installing. We can close that. Okay, then we come in here, we import the shopping cart, and then this is how we can use it. So it tells us how we can import it in our code, which is perfect. We come here on the right side. So on the right side again, we're going to have a class name, and then it's going to be flex, and then items item center, and then relative. Okay, so yeah, then here we're going to have the shopping cart, but in the shopping cart we're going to style it up a bit. So the shopping cart is going to be text of 3XL. It's going to be color. So color is going to be a dark purple. So let me just give you the values. So it's an arbitrary value since tier 1 doesn't have this particular color. And then yeah, so it's going to be this color, which is like a dark type of purple. And then cursor is going to be pointer. Yeah, then I think that's good. And then yeah, so what we want is we want a situation whereby when you start filling up the cart, it's going to show a number. So let's just save and then see what this looks like before we proceed. Okay, so you see we have our cart here. So next to this cart, we want a number, but then we want the number to float above the cart, right? So it shows you like when you add something, it'll be 1, 2, yeah, whatever the number is. So that's why this is a relative. So that when we put this div here, the number that's inside that div can be floating. So here we would put 1. Let's save and then just see what it looks like. So this would just be a simple, yeah, you see, right now it doesn't look nice. So we want it to be like a small bubble that's next. That will be saying 1. Okay. So here we'll say margin left 2, so that there's a margin of left. BG of blue 600, 500, 600, yeah. Then we want it to be rounded. So it's going to be rounded full, so that it's like a circle with border radius, width 5, height of 5, and then we want to flex it, and then we want to give it an item of center. So we want to center that number inside that div that we just created, and then text will be white since the background is blue, so the text will be white so that we can see the text. The text will be small, and then the font will be semi-bold. We save that, see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, it's not really looking nice, so we need to center it horizontally. So to center something horizontally, we need to use justify center. Save that, and then perfect. So this is what we want, and then our header is done, and then you can see our header is responsive on mobile, on desktop. We can zoom out, and then you can see even on very big screens it's going to work fine. Okay, our header is done, so that's perfect. We go back to our page, and then the next part, so our header is done, and then we want a nice title. So we come here, so here on this area where the mouse is hovering, we want a nice title that and like a message that show people like, okay, you're on this application, and this application is doing this. Okay, so that's what we want now. Okay, so just a moment. So in layout, we can change here where it says, you see here where it says create next step. I don't like that. We can change that title to be artistry market, and then a shop that sells art, something like this. We save that, close that, then we come back here, div, and then yeah, you can see the change. See, now it says artistry market. Okay, so here we want an h1, and then this h1 is going to say get artistic prints, because our website is selling art, but then the art is coming to you in the form of prints. So it's going to be printed, then we're going to send the art like in a frame. So we're just saying like a small message of what we're trying to do. And then, so just to style this text, we're going to give it a text of 4XL. So it's going to be very, very big, font of bold. And then just so we don't keep typing it out, we can come back here. We want this color. We can copy this color, the 5B. We come here. That's the same color that I want. And then I want my text to be on the center. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see. Get artistic prints. Then we give it a parent styling. So the parent is going to be flex, and then it's going to be a flex of column, and then items center, and then we're going to justify center, margin top of 10, and then space y of 4. Okay, so why? Because we also want to have a p tag, so that's why we did that. Then we have a class name of, yeah, it's going to be text center again, and then the text is going to be text of XL text gray 500, and then it's going to say elevate your space with stunning art prints, transform your surroundings. Okay, let's just fix this. Okay, perfect. So this is what it's going to say. Give this a space, see what it looks like. Elevate your space, transform your surroundings. Something like this. Okay. Here we want to have a div which is holding, which is going to be holding the card. So here we want the card with the products. That's what we want here. We want cards with that are going to be holding the products. And then for now, we'll give it a class name, and then we'll just say margin top, and then we'll say, or padding top. Well, we don't really need to give, okay, we can just say padding of 10. I think that's more appropriate. We come to our components. Inside our components, we create the card. Okay. So our card is going to be holding the products. So yeah, for here we can just leave it as card so that we can import it here, because here we want to display so that we can see it, and then import that. So here it's imported, and then here we can see the card. Okay, good. We come back to the card. Okay, then the card is going to have relative styles. It's going to have shadow of MG. Then we're going to have a max width of SM. And, okay, which is, yeah, so for now that's good. Yeah, we won't see much because, yeah, we haven't done much yet, so it's not going to be anything. Let's carry on. So we want a top div, so we want a top and a bottom div. The top div is going to hold an image, So it's going to be a Next.js image. We import it, and then yeah, so it's going to be something like this, and then it's going to be a class name, and then it's going to be relative, then it's going to have a height of 96, then overflow is going to be hidden, then aspect ratio, so it's going to be aspect ratio, it's going to be 1, and then yeah, then when we hover, so we want a small effect to happen when we hover. We want the scale to be 105, so that means it's just going to hover a bit, and then so we want a nice kind of transition when that happens. So the transition is going to be, so it's like a tailwind CSS effect. So it's going to be transition, transform, and then duration is going to be 300. Okay, perfect. We save that, but it's not going to show anything yet since we don't have the image. And then here for the image, we're not going to put a width or a height. We're going to give it what we call a layout, so that it just fits the whole area, that it fits the whole div. That's what we want. And then object fit is going to be cover, so that it covers the whole div, right? So that's what that's doing. And then we want a bottom div, right? This bottom div is going to have class name of padding 4 space, so we want space y, so this is going to hold the text of the card, so that's going to be h1, right? And then it's going to say painting 1, something like that, and then it's going to have a class name, it's going to have text, and then we want that nice, let's just go and copy and paste it, this nice text color. Yeah, at this point I should have just made it a primary color in the tailwind CSS, but yeah, that's for another day. Okay, then we want it to be text 3XL with a font of semi-bold. Yeah, I think this is good. And then we want p tag, and then this p tag is going to be a description, so it's going to be description of the painting you are selling. Yeah, something like this. You get the idea. Give it a class name. Yeah, we can just take a peek at what it looks like. So you see, this is what so here the image is going to be here, then the title, then here is going to be the description. So the description is what we're doing now. It's going to be a text of Excel. It's going to be a text gray 500, and then we're going to truncate it. So what that means is when it gets big, we want to have 3 dots instead of having extra lines. Then yeah, we break the line so that we just have a bit of space at the bottom. Okay, perfect. And then yeah, you see these 3 lines at the end, and then you see the card is now long, and you see these 3 lines. That's what we want. Okay, then below that we want so we want a span that's going to show the price. Okay, yeah, wrong suggestions from ChatGPT. Okay, so we want, it's going to be absolute, then the span is going to have the price, so here we can say 200, like just a sample price. We have a class name here, the class name is going to be absolute, then bottom 0, right 0, and then padding of 2, and then it's going to have a background. The background is going to be an arbitrary value, and then it's going to be F5, F3, then FF. So it's going to be kind of like a white kind of background. Then it's going to be shadow MD, so that it has like a raised effect, so it looks like a card. And then the span is going to be, so the span is going to be text. We want that text, yeah, just to have it copied, and then it's going to be text LG, and it's going to be font semi bold. Yeah, then I think this is good. Let's see what it looks like. Then you see, perfect. The price is there, everything is there. So we now want the picture. So let's just come here and then say and splash. So there's this website called Unsplash. That's where you can get free images that have no copyright. And then here we can just say paintings, because remember the website will be selling paintings. So we want to search for some paintings, and then yeah, we can get this one, and then we download the medium one. Yeah, I think that'll be enough what we're doing. Perfect. Okay, we open our finder and then just rename the image to be 1. Copy the image, go to our project in the public folder, then we paste it in there, close that, come back to our app, go to our image is 1, then we refresh, and then our image should now show. Let's just wait for it to load, and then you see we now have our nice beautiful image. We come back to our page, and then now we want to style this so that when we have different different products, how is it going to display them here? That's what we want to do now. So we come here, and then so we need a main div. So this is the main div with the padding of 12, but then inside here needs to be a flex, and then we come here, we need a div that's going to surround all the cards. So let's come here and then let's do this. Let's just make several copies of the card. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just have multiple copies of the card, and then let's see. You see, we have multiple copies of the card, but then now it's going down. We want them to go on the side and then show sort of like in a grid. That's what we want. So yeah, we say class name, and then so mx of auto, that centers everything. Then we say grid, then we say grid. So we want 3 products per row. Okay, but then by default, so this will be for on large devices. By default, we want 1 product. So that on mobile. So on mobile, we show 1 product. Then on large screens, we show 3 products. Okay, and then gap. So a gap is going to be okay, and then we save that. Then let's see what that looks like. And then you see, perfect. Now we have a nice product, and then if we make this more, it's going to be 1 product, because that's what we're saying here. So you see, this now works on mobile. We grow this, and then we have our nice product on on large screens, and then we can zoom out. You see, even on very, very big screens, it's going to be contained. Everything looks nice and neat. And then, okay, perfect. Now we need to make our footer. So it's going to be in our components, footer.js, rfce. Okay, so our footer is going to be very simple. It's just going to, yeah, but then this tutorial is just so that you guys can then start doing these things on your own. So for now I'm just going to make a nice small footer that's going to be very basic. It's not going to say much. So we come here, we import the footer, here, we close that, go back to the footer. So the footer is going to be a class name. We're going to give it padding of 10, and then here is going to be h1, and then it's going to be a class name of text center, because we want everything to be nice and in the center. Then it's going to be a text of large, and then here is going to say please like and subscribe to the video. Yeah, so guys, please like and subscribe to the video. It also helps me to keep me motivated to keep making these videos. And then you see, please like and subscribe to the video. Okay, so our footer is done. You can change it to whatever you want it to say. Let's just close this so that we can have space. Okay, so yeah, the main page is done. Now we need to make the detail page. So this will be the page that when you click this, we'll be seeing the products. So that will be that page. That's the page that we now need to make. So the details page is going to be, so this page, like the way that we want to create it, when you click this, it's going to open that page, and then it's going to show that product. Okay, so for now it's just the UI, so don't worry about how it's going to work. Right now we're just doing UI, right? So we come here, and then we say details. Inside the details, page.js. Okay, so don't worry about how it's going to work for now. Just worry about the styles. So we come here, then we say page. Okay, whilst that loads, let's start thinking about what we want in the page. So every page is going to have a header. Remember, we already created the header, so we just import. Okay, and then below that we have a div, and then inside that div, so in the components, we're going to create a component. We're going to call it detail. Okay, details.js. Details.js. Yeah, that's the right spelling. So this is where the details are going to go. Save that. Go back. So it's not called page, it's called details. Okay, so we have our page, we have our details. Then let's see, we have our header. So we come here, we've imported our header. That's what's being shown here. So perfect. So we're on the right track. Okay, so in that, what we want in the details page, so on the left side here, we want to show the picture. On the right side, we want to show the name, details, and then an input to show the quantity, and then to show a button which says go to checkout, and then add to cart, something like that. That's what we want, right? So yeah, we import details, import that, save, come to details. Okay, so details is going to be, it's going to have a max width of 7xl. It's going to have a max, it's going to have a margin horizontal of auto, then it's going to have a margin top of 20, and then inside that we're going to have a parent div for that component. It's going to be grid, and then grid of, so on mobiles it's cos 1, then on large devices it's grid columns 2, right? Perfect. And then here So this is how you do comments. This is going to be left side, right? Then copy that. This is going to be what we put on the right side. Okay, we can just say left here, right, save that. Okay, left, right, then we come here, then you see left, right. Okay, so we come on the left. So on the left side we want a shadow of MD so that it looks like a card. Then it's going to be relative height of 96. So we do this when we want to have an image, so that the image doesn't go above, it doesn't go above the div. We want the image to fill the whole div. So this is what we do. Then we want an image, so it's going to be a Next.js image, and then it's going to be the same. Okay, so yeah, it's not going to be image, so it's going to be like this. Yeah, we just want to use the same image, keep things simple. You can edit the stuff later when we're now getting it from the database. Then yeah, we'll just say image of painting. Okay, perfect. Save that. You can take a peek. Then you have your image. Okay, on the right side, so yeah, you want to have the title, you want to have the description, you want to have a quantity to say how much do you want of the product, then you want to have add to cart. Okay, so here we have class name, then it's going to be, yeah, we want something like a margin top. Yeah, margin top doesn't really matter. So we want something like flex, then flex column, because what we want is we want everything to have a nice space in between. So we have a justify between so that everything is nicely spaced inside. And then, yeah, I think that should be good. Then here we want an H1. The H1 will say painting name. Then this should be nice. So it should be text of 3XL, font of semi-bold, then text is going to be that arbitrary value 5B 20 B6, so that's the color. And then below that you can save that and see. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Below that we want a p tag. This p tag is going to be this is the description of the painting, something like that. Class name is going to be text of LG. It's going to be margin top of 4. Then it's going to be gray with the shade of 500. Okay, perfect. Okay, then below that we're going to have a div. This div is going to have a class name with a margin top of 5, I guess, and then inside there we're going to have a span. Okay, yeah, it's going to be something like this. Perfect for the price. Yeah, then you see it's going to be something like this. So name, description, price. We're not done. Then we want a nice div with a class name, margin top of 6, and then it's going to have a flex, then flex column, text gray of 500, and then yeah, perfect. Then it's going to have a label. The label is just going to say QTY for quantity. Then we're going to have an input. Okay, perfect. The input will have text and the default value of 1, and then it's going to have a class name. It's going to have a width of 20, px of 4, a height of 10. Then it's going to have a border, then a border gray 300. Then it's going to be rounded MD. Okay, done. We can take a peek. See, it's coming out. Right, so lastly we need the button, class name, margin top of 6. Then inside here we need the button, add to cart. Let's take a peek. It's too big, so it's going to be okay. We don't need this width full. Save that. Okay, the background is perfect, color perfect. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, we can give it, so we can give it a px of 6, just so that it's a bit big. Yeah, I think for now this is good. Yeah, so the details page is done. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that page is done, and then let's head over to the cart page. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's anything we can add, but then yeah, it shouldn't be an issue because then we can just come back later and then we can add, because right now it's just UI, so it doesn't really matter. So let's close this, create cart folder. Inside the cart folder, page.js. Inside there, create a component. Inside that component, so for all these pages we need a header. We import that header, display it. Then below the header we need a cart, so we go in components, create cart component. Inside there we create that component. We come back here, we import the cart component. Okay, then we come into cart, so we come here, we display the cart page, then wait for it to load. Okay, perfect. Let me see cart here. Okay, so the cart page is going to be like this. Here we're going to create some products, so it's going to be const. So later on there'll be real products. Right now we're just creating fake products, so it's going to be like this. Then it's going to be ID 1, yeah, something like this. Then yeah, something like this. Okay, perfect. So it's going to be name, price, and then quantity. Okay, perfect. And then we have our array, and then yeah, so that's good for now. So what we need is to create the outer div. So the outer div is going to have a max width. So everything must have a max width so that your design is not just going all over the place. And then mx of auto to center everything, and then margin top of 20, which is perfect. And then here we need to say cart, yeah, just to notify someone that they're on the cart page. Okay, then that needs a text of 3XL, a text of center, font of bold or semi-bold, because I always like to use semi-bold. We don't want it to be too much, right? yeah, next time we'll make these values into a CSS primary class so that we don't have to keep typing it out. Margin bottom of 6. Save that, see what it looks like. Perfect. You see cut there. Right. Below that, we're going to create a table. Table. Give the table a class name, width of full, border of collapse. Okay. Then, so your table always has a table head, which is this th head, and then perfect. The table head was always has table rows. Let's just see what is suggested. Table grade 200, texts, padding. Yeah, we can work with this. Makes our life easier. Okay, but then we don't want this text left. Text left. Yeah, we don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. Okay, so it's going to be name, price, quantity. Then there's not total. There's remove, because we want to be able to remove, and then from cart, and then our text. You just copy this so that we have that nice text color. Save that. Take a peek. Yeah, this is coming out nice. So this is our table. These are our table headings. Okay, so below the table, we always have our table body. Okay, body. Okay, perfect. So below that table body, what we want to do is we want to map through the products. Remember, there's the products that we created here. We want to map through that. So we want to say dot map. Then when we map, we want to take the single product. So the single product, like this, and then tr. So tr is the single table, like this. Then key is going to be product.id. Perfect. And then we have the table data. Inside the table data, it's going to be product dot name. Okay, something like this. Then it's going to display the name. Painting 1, painting 2. Perfect. Right, let's just dial up the table row a bit. So it's going to be, no, we want it to hover when you press it. So when you hover over it, it's going to hover to be gray of, yeah, we can say gray of 50, because we want it to be very subtle. Text of center, so that everything is centered. And then border, bottom, border, gray of 300. Then the text, yeah, then we want that, we want this text. Okay, done. Then the table data, we want that to be padding y of 2, px of 4, flex, then items, flex, then items center. Why? Because I also want to add an image in here. So here it's going to be like this, this, then this. Then I want to add an image, which it read my mind, and then just put it there. Okay, so that's very wrong. Yeah, so This AI stuff, it's not there yet. Sometimes it's giving you very, very wrong code. So it's 1.jpg. Then yeah, this is more like it, but without this rounded. And then I think the width, the height should be like 30. Save, and then let's see what that looks like. Okay. Because I think we also need a margin right here. Class name, margin right, something like 2. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's just make the image smaller. Yeah, I think this is, yeah, we can work with this. And then, so we want table data, give it a class name of padding y of 2, padding of 4, and then we copy this for one more time, and then here it's product dot. Let's see what else we want to display. So we have name, price, quantity. So right now we want quantity. Okay, product dot quantity. Is that it? No, we want price. So yeah, let's just swap these. Then here is product dot price. Save that. Yeah, then here we need a $sign. Okay, perfect. Then here where it says remove, we do right. Then here it's the same. It's the same. Then here we need a React icon for a bin. So we come here, then we say trash icon, something like this. We see how it gets imported. We come here, we import it, then how we use it. We come here, we copy, open back our project, come here, we paste it, then we give it a class name, then we want it to have a text with this color so that everything looks nice and neat. MX Auto, we want it to be in the center, and then when you hover over it, you want the cursor to become a pointer. Okay, then perfect. When you hover, the cursor becomes a pointer. When you hover the cursor, the background changes. So we check, it's mobile responsive. Okay, yeah, we're almost done. Yeah, last but not least, we have our order page. So because I think, yeah, we need an order page. So when you open the orders, we need a way to be able to see. So after you've put your products in the cart, after you've paid, we need a way to be able to see these. We need a way to be able to see these orders, right? And then, yeah. So this page is not going to be that difficult. I think we can just copy from this page because it's going to be literally the same. So we can just copy the pages, right? And then just change some stuff. So let's come here, close this, create a folder called order. In there, create a page.js, and then we copy here, paste it in order, delete this, save, go into components, create an order component.js, right? Close this page, go into cart, copy everything in cart, paste it in order, then change the name to order, just to do a bit of cleanup. Yeah, so sometimes when you're coding, I know everyone is guilty of this, you just change up some stuff. Right? And then So it's going to be a bit different from what we had. So it's going to be, yeah, we had product, price, quantity, but then here it's going to be a bit different to what we had there. So here it's going to be product, quantity, right? And then paid, so product, then paid, then after paid is status. So status will be telling us the status of the product. Has it been delivered? Is it on its way? And then paid is like, have you paid, which is going to be something like a true or false value. So it's going to be then quantity. So quantity is going to be here. Then here we remove the image, we no longer need it. Quantity, then paid. So it's going to be paid. And then the last one is going to be status. So let's just copy, paste this, and say status. Delete this. Remove this import, remove the image import, name, so it's now name, quantity is there, they paid, so instead of price is paid, then we say true, oh yeah, we can just say paid, then paid, then paid, then after this we have status delivered, then here status delivered, save that, come back to our page, import the order component, done, we remove this, save, and then we come here, we go to the order page, yeah, let's just go over the code, we loop through this. So here we should no longer say cut, we should say order page, something like this. Then you see order page, product, quantity, then where it says paid, we remove the $sign. We no longer need this, right? So we now have, let's go back to the start. So we now have a main page, right? When you click the product, we now have a details page to show the product. When you add to cart, we now have a cart page. Then when you pay, we now have an order page. So yeah, the UI is now done. Next part, we jump into adding the functionality. With adding the functionality to the UI that we just made, we need to add authentication so that our users have to log in. They don't just come in, and see everything. We need a way to authenticate our users. So we're using a service called Clerk. So you visit clerk.com, click here where it says get started for free. Add an application. Our application is going to be called Art Shop. You call it anything that you want. Okay. Then yeah, so I can show you this after the video. I'll delete. So we created .env file. So we come here. Let's close everything up. We create a .env file. Inside here, we paste our environmental variables, continue to documentation. We close this, we no longer need it. So we need to install this package. So copy this command, come into your terminal, open a new terminal, copy this command, install Clerk. Whilst Clerk is installing, we've done this part. So whilst that's happening, we need to go into our app, right? And in our app, in our layout file, we need to import clerk. So we come to our layout, we import clerk, right? So that we can use the clerk provider to wrap our entire app. So we're protecting the entire application inside the clerk provider. We save. Okay, that's done installing. Close that. Right, perfect. Okay, so clerk has, so in the create a middle file in your app source, if you don't have a source, use, okay, so we're going to create a file called middleware.js in the same place where you created the env file. You create a middleware.js, copy this, come in here and paste it. Okay, leave that for now, and then use a button. So we come here, we take this, we're going to put that in the header. So we come where it says components, header, we come here, import the user button, we copy this, then we come into this file, fa shop, and then here, after this, we create the user button. Okay, but then the user button needs an after sign out URL. So when you sign out, which URL are you going to visit? That's what it needs. And then yeah, everything is working, but we don't want it like this where it's going to their site, right? We want it to go to our own site, to stay at our own site, because right now it's working, but the sign up is being hosted on their site. We don't want it to be like that, so we need to create custom sign in and sign up pages, because we never want it to have a situation like that where it's being hosted on their site, right? So how we do a custom, we come in here, we create a folder called sign. The first one is sign up, I think. Then we come into sign up, we create another folder, you open two tags, you create the spread operator, then sign. So just put 3 dots, sign up. Yeah, then in here you create a page.js, right? Yeah, don't worry, you don't need to understand what's going on here, but just paste in this code, and then you are going to allow clerk to be able to come in and create a sign up page in your app. So that's all that is doing. So don't worry if you don't understand what's happening or stuff like that. Just know that you're kind of allowing clerk to come into your application, and then you're telling them that when you come into my application, inject the sign up page into my application. So that's all that you're telling clerk to do. Okay, so we created the sign up. Now we need to create the sign in. So first, sign in. Once you create the sign in page, you come in here, those 3 dots again, then sign in again, close that, then in here, create a page.js, right? Inside the page.js, you paste. So in the documentation, they're telling you everything, so don't worry. Close this, close this, close this. Okay, close this. In the env, you need to tell clerk, right, where it's going to find these files, right? So you're telling it that going to sign in, that's where you're going to find the sign in page. Going to sign up, that's where you're going to find the sign up page. And then everything is done. Hopefully there are no issues. Let's go back to our local host, and then now, instead of being redirected to clerk, Clerk is going to create the sign in form into our application, right? So I'm not going to see all this clerk is in development mode stuff, right? You see the form is now on our page. Okay, perfect. Okay, the form, let's see, sign in like this. I want to see if I can center it. Div. Okay, class name, then it's going to be a flex, item center, justify center. Okay, then it's centered, yeah, something like that. Oh, I think we need to, let's see if we can do it a bit higher than that. Yeah, we may need to do it a bit higher than this because this is not very efficient. Okay, so in the sign in, we can create something called a layout. Layout.js. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. So in this layout.js, let's just say RFCE. So the layout, it gives us the children. So this is the proper way of how we can do this in Next.js, of how we can do like group stylings. Right? Then we say flex items center. Okay. Justify center height of screen, and then a max width of full. Save this, copy. So we did it in the sign in page, now we do it in the sign up page, right? And then layout.js, we do it in the sign up page again, and then now you see perfect, right? So now if we try to visit our app, we come to the sign in page. Sign in is easy. Continue with Google. And then it logs in. And then you see here we have this in the header. Let's go and check it out, and then just style it so that it looks a bit better and it's not, the way that it looks now. Okay, so let's move it out of this div and then just see. Okay, so yeah. Okay, what happens if we put it here? Okay, no, that's not what we want. So we come here, let's make it div, and then the class name, margin left 4, something like this. Okay, perfect. And then yeah, you can view, manage account, you can change your account, you can change your password. So that's the power of Clerk. If you want to sign out, it's as simple as just clicking sign out. So we now have authentication in our application. Perfect. For our project, we're going to be using Sanity.io. So Sanity.io is a CMS which is going to allow us to add products to our store. So we need to have some products here before we can start adding them to cart, before we can start doing some stuff with them. So yeah, Sanity is very nice to use. So just create an account on Sanity. It's going to ask you a few questions. It's going to ask you the name of the project. Just pick art shop, basic stuff. It's not going to be that difficult. So I already have an account. And then so yeah, it's going to ask you to create a project. Yeah, so this is just basic creating of an account. The technical stuff I'll show you, but basically you just create an account. Okay, so once you have this account and once you're on this dashboard, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our code. open out. So we're going to shut down the system. Control C, clear the terminal, close everything up. Okay, everything is nice and clean. We're going to install npm. So the way we're using Sanity is not the standard way, right? Then we're going to install Sanity. Okay, let me just check if I didn't miss anything. Next, Sanity and Sanity. Yeah, that's what we need. We install that. So we're going to self-host the Sanity admin dashboard. So usually when people are creating Sanity, they're using Sanity Studios and then they are deploying it onto Sanity. We're going to be bringing in Sanity into our application the way that we brought in Clerk, right? So it's a bit different, right, than the standard way that is done. So yeah, I will walk you through this way of how we do it. So let's just install it. Okay, whilst it's installing, we can even start working, right? So that we're not really that much behind. So we need a file in our root. This file is called sanity.config.js. So this is going to be the heart of everything that we're doing with Sanity, right? And then in there, we need to import something called define config, right? This define config, we get it from Sanity, right? Then we need to import something called disk2. So yeah, most of these things you don't need to know what they're doing. Just check the documentation if you want to know more, but you know, even I don't know like what some of these things are doing. Sanity. Okay, yeah, for now that's good. Then we need to create a config. To create a config file. In that config file, so that config file, we need to define config, and then like this, then like this. Then we need to export default config. Okay, perfect. And then what does this config file entail? This config file, it has the project ID, okay, it has the dataset, the API version, and then yeah, so this IntelliSense gave me most of what I need. So the plugin here, we need to do this because it's like a function, and then after that, yeah, that's done. And then we need to give it a base path of where everything is, where it's going to get the, so the base path is just going to be slash admin. That's what I'll name the folder. Save that, and then okay, use cdn true. So yeah, we need to put the current date, so it's 2023, it's November the 23rd. Okay, and then the project ID, we come in here, so this is the project ID, we copy that project ID, we paste that here. Yeah, that's all we need. We save this. Perfect. Okay, so what we just did here is this is the config file that Sanity.io needs. So Sanity.io, we're going to serve it from our application. So remember, when we're serving Clerk, we created a sign-in page. In that sign-in page, we created this folder with the tag, with the dots, and then we created it. So that's the same thing that we're going to be doing for Sanity, because so that Sanity can then be served from our application. So yeah, so that's basically what we need to do. We need to create a folder called admin. Okay, inside that folder called admin, we need to have admin, and then that, and then inside there, finally, we have our page.js, and then we need to say use client. Since Sanity is going to be using So, well, so when you say use client, you're telling skills just import. You're telling Next.js that I never want to run this code on the server. Bring it to the front end so that I can run it on the front end. Studio, and then we import the config file that we just created. So that's why we were creating the config file, right? So config file, okay, add sanity config, and then we export default function, admin page, then Next.js config. Okay, perfect. Right, so this is what we want. And then lastly, we go into our middleware. So inside this middleware, we need to tell clerk. So we need to tell clerk that this page, the admin page, you shouldn't protect it. It should be a public route because Sanity IO comes with its own authentication. So we don't want to authenticate twice. Because remember, clerk is protecting everything. So we need to tell clerk that leave the admin. We want that to be a public route. So we come here, then we say public routes, then it's like this. So public routes is an array, then we just say slash admin. So that tells clerk that stay away from that folder. So here you can put in the landing page, you can put in, all those pages that you don't want them to be protected by authentication from clerk, right? And then yeah, this will take a bit of time to load, but if we did everything correct, we should see the Sanity IO. Okay. Yeah, the first time you run it, you might get some cause errors, but then that's very simple. Is you just do what it says. It's going to say click here to add, because basically what's happening with Sanity when you're connecting with, to Sanity, every single URL, your local host, so you're connected from your local host to Sanity, it's going to be restricted by cause. So what you do, you come here where it says settings, right? Then you come here where it says API settings. Okay. Let's just wait a moment. The website seems to be broken. But you come to settings, API settings, then there's a place where it says cause. API settings. Yeah, maybe it needs to be refreshed. I don't know what's happening there. But there's a place where it says cause. So the part where it says cause, you're going to, let's open the admin. The part where it says cause, you're going to add your local host. You're going to add any website that you want, any URL that you want to be able to connect to Sanity. But then here, when you're in development, it does it automatically. There's going to be a pop-up, then there's a button that you click, and then it's going to add it automatically. Right? So this is just for the first time you enter. And then when we deploy from on Vercel is going to give you a URL, right? You take this URL, you go into your Sanity, it's because you need a way to approve it. You need a way to approve this URL, right? Yeah, when we get to that, I'll show you. Then everything will make sense. Right now, it might not make sense because we're not yet there. Yeah, it's compiling. Yeah, if everything was correct, it should work. Fingers crossed. Okay, so yeah, admin. Yeah, I think everything is good. In our config file. Yeah, it takes time because it's serving an entire backend into this app. So it takes a bit of time. to do that. And then after this, we're going to have a nice backend, a nice admin dashboard, I mean. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to pause the video a bit and then come back when it's done. Our app /admin is taking us to Sanity because we're now serving Sanity from our app. And then here we say, so what I want to do here, to make our life easier, we can come here and then we open the two tabs, right? So here, the admin. So you see it loads and then opens the admin, and then here on this side I want to open the app. Okay, so the app on the left and then Sanity on the right. Okay, so let's authenticate. So you authenticate with the same account that you used to create here. Right, since it's an admin dashboard, not anyone can just come in and sign in and create an account. It must only be the account that you approve here, or here where you say it's members. Only members will be able to come in and open this admin. Okay, so this admin is opening the schemas that are available in our application. Then I'm going to show you how we create schemas and all that good stuff. Okay, let's wait for it to load. Yeah, that's the issue with serving, from your app. It's very, very slow. But Next.js, once it caches everything up, then yeah, the speed will improve. Okay, so no document types. That means we don't have any schemas in our app. So we come into an app, we create a folder called Sanity, right? Inside that folder called Sanity, we're going to create a folder called schemas. Schemas, right? Inside schemas, so yeah, inside Sanity, so we have Sanity, then we have a folder called schemas. Inside Sanity, we want a file, and then we're going to call this file sanity-utils.js. Okay, so it's now inside Sanity. We have a folder called schemas, then we have a file called sanity-utils.js. We go into schemas, we create a fat schema, which is going to be user schema.js. Because remember, we have a user, and then we want this user to be in the database, right? So this is how we write a schema in Sanity. So it's going to be const user, right? And then it's going to be name. The name is going to be user, and then yeah, you can watch some tutorials on Sanity. It's very easy to use. So this is just basic Sanity stuff. And then here we need to define the fields. Okay, and then you see my IntelliSense, my GitHub Copilot is helping me. Let's just verify if it's true, then I can just explain, to save up on time. Okay, name, email, email required, type of string, yes. Then we have a password. So we don't have password for this since it's single, and we don't have a row. Okay, yeah, the rest is good. So name and email, that's good. We save that. Yeah, that looks good. And then so we're going to have lots of schemas. So we want a way to be able to export them at once, right? So we're going to import the user from, because remember we're exporting this user schema. and then const. So we want to put them in an array. So it's going to be const users. Then we're going to put user, and then export default schemas, right? So later on, this array will be full, like user, products, orders, right? So that's our schema. And then remember, for Sanity to be able to pick it up, because right now Sanity doesn't know what we're doing in our files. But then for Sanity to be able to be like, oh, okay, so this is what they're doing, right? We have to come in here, right? And then we have to notify Sanity that we have created a schema, and then we want you to be aware of the schema. So first, I think we have to import, right? Then it's going to be schema from Sanity schemas, right? And then here we now tell Sanity that we have a schema. So it's schema, and then we open, then you say type, then schemas like this. We save. Okay, let's see what the issue is. Schema error. Okay, let's just go over everything. Okay, did we import it correctly? Schemas. Let's see if we exported it correctly. Import schema, export schemas. Okay, perfect. Sanity schemas, export default schemas. Okay, that's good. User schema. Let's go back to the user schema and check if this is the way that we're supposed to write it. There might be a small mistake. Okay, so name user, title user, type document, fields, name, title, type, name, title, type. Yeah, that's good. Okay, then we close this. Right. Okay. We didn't export the user. We save that. Compiled. We come back here. Let's refresh. So we have to export. We forgot to export. Just a small mistake. So we've now told Sanity that we have a user schema. Okay, so you now see in Sanity we get this user. Okay, perfect. So yeah, this is from previous code. Let's just delete this, disregard this. It should be blank for you and for me. Okay, so user, then we say enter, we say create new user, name, email, right? We go back to our user schema. So this is our user schema. So let's say name, email. Let's say we no longer want to store email, or I think the best way would be to add a field. So let's say you want to store name, email. Then we also want to know like when this account was created, right? So we want to store. So name is going to be yeah, because in database we have a field called created at. Name is going to be, type is going to be of date time, and then options, validation rules not going to be required. We're going to have options. Okay, then the options is going to have a date format, date. Yeah, so all of this is in the Sanity documentation. So yeah, don't worry about all of this. It's going to be year, and then month, and then day, time, hour, minutes, seconds. Then yeah, it's going to be like this. And then we come here. This field is going to be a read-only field. So when you make a read-only field, it means later on we can't come and change this field, because we don't want, yeah, you wouldn't want someone to be able to change the created at. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Refresh, we come here, it refreshes. So once you change the schema, you see we now have a created at field. So what we're doing in our code and what's happening in this admin dashboard, Sanity dashboard, is all in sync. Everything is synchronized, right? Perfect. Next up, we now want to, so when we log in, right, we're logging in using clerk, but then here in Sanity, we don't know like who's logged in. We have no idea. So what we want to do, once you log in, so the very first time that you log in, we want to take this name and the email, and then we want to send it to Sanity so that we have a record of who's logged in, right? How do we do that? So we have a user schema here with name, email, and created at. Okay, so let's close all the other pages that are not necessary. So in Sanity utils, so we created a folder here, Sanity utils. That's where we're going to write the code, right? So we're going to import. So Sanity gives us something called create client. This comes from Next Sanity, and then it gives us something called grok, which is their language, right? So it's like a GraphQL type of language, right? Then we say client, then create client. So it's like, think of this as like a database connection string, like kind of thing, right? It's not, but think of it like that. Okay, so we go into our Sanity config, we take our project ID, right? Project ID, production, everything is correct, right? And then what else? So project ID, dataset, API version. We need the title. Do we have the title here? Here we don't have the title. So yeah, the title is required here. Title. Our title is art shop. Okay. Then we need a token. Okay. Then we say process. Process.env. Is that the spelling? Dot next underscore public underscore sanity underscore API underscore token. This looks good. We take this, copy this, go into our env, paste this equals, then we go to Sanity, we go to settings, right, API settings. So this is what I was talking about on cause. You are supposed to allow all these things to be able to connect, because if you don't allow these things, when you try to connect, it's going to say no, right? So you see here it's allowed, right? Yeah, where it says API tokens, so I already have one, right? But if you don't have a token, like let's see if I can, so tokens, let's see if I can view the token. Yeah, so I can't view the token, so let me create a new one. So you guys are also going to need to create a new token, and then let's say art shop 2. You can name it whatever you want, and then we're going to give it editor. permissions, right? Copy this, paste it in here, save, close everything up, go back to our utils, then let's finish. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to create a way to be able to get a user by an email, right? So how do we do that? We create it as a function that can be exported. It's going to be an asynchronous function, then it's going to be get users by email. So it's going to be like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is not what we want. Then it's going to be get user by email. It's going to be like this. Then it's going to return a client dot fetch. Yeah, let me just type all this out, then I'll explain it to you. Then it's going to be grok. Yeah, let me just type it out, then we can explain. Then it's going to be like this underscore type equals to user. Okay, user, then ampersand email is equal to $email. Okay, something like this. Okay, then we open this up. So yeah, it's going to be like this. Okay, let me just format everything perfectly so that we don't get any errors. Then comma. Okay, then here is going to be email. Then we terminate here. Okay, perfect. Then here we tell it what we wanted to return, which is this. Okay, perfect. Right? Okay, so what is this doing? We're saying get users by email. We pass in an email, and then we're telling, so this grok is a language. So we're saying get type of user, right? This type is what we put here, where we said name. So we're saying go into our database, look under users, and then we want a user where the email is matching this email. So this $sign is a variable to say this email. We want it to match with this email, and then with GraphQL, you can specify what you wanted to return, and then we say we wanted to return the ID, the name, the email, and the created at. So yeah, that's what it returns. We save. Okay, perfect. And then we need another one. So why do we need this? Maybe so that it becomes easier for you guys to understand. So when we log in, we're going to get, we have this email, right? So this get users by email is going to help us to check in the database. Does this email exist in the database? If it exists in the database, we have no need to create that user in the database. But if it doesn't exist, we're going to create that user. That's what we're now doing. So it's going to be an asynchronous function again. So all these functions, they are synchronous functions. And then it's going to be create user name, right? But then we're just going to send it at once. So it's going to be user data, right? Then in the user, I think I made a mistake here. Okay, perfect, right? So in the user there, we're going to structure the name, the email from the user data. Once we get that, then we're going to say const new user is equals to then we await because we're making a call. Client.create, right? So this is like a function that we get, and then it's going to be type of username, email, and then remember we also want created at. So here we're going to say created at is going to be a new date. Perfect. Then if it's successful, we're going to return the new user. Yeah, that's a complete function. Perfect. Right? Let's see, let's refresh and see if there are any issues. Okay, perfect. So there are no issues there. Everything is working. Okay, let's test out our function. But then before we do that, in our user schema under email, we want to make the email unique so that we never have a situation where we have two emails, right? So it's just an extra check. So it's going to be dot unique to make sure that the email is unique. Because yeah, when we check in the database if the email is there, let's say the network is not working, we don't want a situation whereby the network not working means that we're going to not find the user and then we're going to put another user and then we have two users with the same email. So we don't want that. We want a special check that even though the network might not be working and we don't find that user, we're still not putting the user in because the user is unique, right? So that's another just a nice check. Okay, so we go to our app main page. So this is taking place on the main page, right? On this page. So after we log in, we go to that page, and then yeah, we want to import get users by email. Then we want to import create user. Perfect. And then let's see, are we importing? So we want this to be a server-side call. So this function has to be an export default. We have to make it an asynchronous function. And then here we delete where we're exporting it by default. And then this becomes an asynchronous function. And then so clerk gives us the current user. So we're saying import current user from clerk. So clerk tells us who the current user is. So we say const, right? User, await current user. Then if, okay, if the user does not exist, right? We're not redirecting because this is happening on the server. Remember, it's a server-side call. So we wanted to send back HTML that says user not, or you are not logged in. Because if clerk doesn't have the user, it means you're not logged in. Okay? And then here we say const existing user, right? Then we await get user by email, right? Get user, so we need to pass in an email, right? So it's user dot, so the way that it works, we need to check it's user dot email addresses, right? And then email addresses is an array because it's a lot of emails. But then the first one is the primary email, and then we say email address like this. So that's how we get the email. And then yeah, so all of this is in the documentation. And I'm also going to put the code. So yeah, don't worry. And then so if it doesn't exist, then we're going to create the user. Then we're going to keep passing the name. So this is correct, but we also always put ternary operators just in case it's not available. And then yeah, and then we just yeah, name, email, yeah, that's perfect. And then let's save. So if it works, we're going to have a new file here. So let's refresh. So if it works, it's going to go in the database and check if coding with Douglas exists. If it doesn't exist, it's going to create it. Right? Let's see. Okay, coding with Douglas. So it created twice, which we're trying to avoid. So now let's debug and see why it's created twice. Right? Okay, so it created twice because we took code that ChatGPT gave us, which is wrong. I mean, which Copilot gave us. So if existing user dot length, right, is equals to 0, that means it didn't find anything. Then we're going to create the user, and then the user is going to be created with the first name. Okay, so yeah, now it's not going to create because it's going to be there. So let's delete everything so that we can start again. Delete. Yeah, but then that means that their unique emails doesn't really work, because that should have stopped that, right? You can look for other solutions, but that should have stopped that, right? So let's refresh, and then it's going to check the database if the email is there. If it's not there, it's going to put it there. Perfect, right? Then Douglas, coding to Douglas, and then we refresh again. So it's not supposed to put it since this is now the second time, right? And then it's putting it. So let's debug why it keeps doing that. Okay. Let's go through our code. So if user, then existing user, get users by email, user dot email address dot email, then if existing user dot length is equals to 0, then yeah, so if its existing user is equals to 0, then okay, so let's remove that. If it's equals to 0, then we create because it doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, this is correct. Then let's check our utils to see if this function is working properly. Get users by email, get the email client.fetch, type of user, and email is equal to email. Then we get the ID name, right? Then email. Okay, let's refresh that and let's check. Okay, I think let me restart. Because we want this to be unique. Okay, let's come here. Okay, and then let's go into our user schema and also check. Email validation required. Root dot required. Dot unique. Yeah, so email is supposed to be unique. Yeah, name not really, doesn't matter. And then let's just run and check. Okay, let's run. Page. Okay, perfect. Let's wait for it to finish. Yeah, it takes time to compile because now it's Sanity. Yeah, so you must also take that in, into your mind when you're using Sanity and then you're self-hosting it. Yeah, when your machine is going to be overloaded. But then on the server, I think it'll be fine. But yeah, Next.js is very good when it caches something. It starts to become fast as you cache it, and then it's just getting the data from local storage. Then it becomes fast. Okay, so yeah, that creates. But then when we refresh again, right, we're saying that it shouldn't create because it already exists, right? So that's the issue. Okay, let's run it a third time and see. And then we need to check what the issue is. So it's not doing it a third time. It's just doing it. Okay, let's see. Coding with Douglas. Coding with. Okay, let's just refresh again. The issue is sorted. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with Sanity, but yeah, so I added the check here. So when you try to create a user, we then also check if the if the user already exists. If the user already exists, it will say user with this email already exists. If it doesn't, it tries a new user. And let's just test it out. So here we have one user. We refresh. And then yeah, we no longer have duplicates. Okay, so yeah, that's sorted. Okay, so after this, I think the next part we should be working on adding the functionality to be able to get the data from Sanity. So from Sanity, we want to be able to create products, and then once we have products, we want to be able to get these products. Um, so just find some images online, and then just get some products. Yeah, so yeah, if I create the schema for products, I should have access to my products because I have some products already in the database. But then for you, just create some products. So for this part, we'll go through it together. So let's schemas. So let's create a product schema. Product schema.js. Then const product. Okay, then the name is going to be product, then the title is going to be product, the type is going to be document, then we're going to have fields, and the fields is an array of objects. Okay, so it's going to be an array of objects. So it's going to be name, it's going to be name, title is going to be name, type is going to be string, validation. Do we want, yeah, we want to validate because everything must have a name. Validation, rule required. Okay. okay, like this. And then so it's going to have, so there's a field that they call a slug. So this field, it allows us to be able to open a single product, right? We give it a type of slug, and then we'll give it options, name, max length. So we want a max length of 200. Then validation rule of required. Yeah, a slug is always going to be required. And then after slug, we have an image and then a description. So yeah, we're going to have name of description, title of description, type of text, then validation, perfect. We're going to have name, it's going to be price, type of title of price, type of number, and then validation rule required dot minimum of 0. So these are just validation rules. It's not really a big deal. Then we want to create it at name created at, and then created at type of date time. Yeah, I will not really say it's going to be, so we can just copy from the user. Yeah, because writing all this is kind of a bit too much. Okay, let's just paste this in. Okay, perfect. And then under slug, we want a field name. So this one we want it to hold an image. Okay, so we're just going to have one. Yeah, to make it fancy, you can add in more images, but for me I'm just going to have one image. And then so an image has a field called hotspot, so which allows you to be able to crop it, and then validation rule, then we save, and then we come here to our index. Let's go in our product. Okay, so yeah, we forgot to export again. Remember to always export, otherwise it will give you an error. Here we import the product from product schema here, then we say product, and then now Sanity will have access to it. Okay, we come here, let's just go to admin. Okay, then Sanity will now have access to my products. Okay, yeah, for you it's going to be blank since you didn't have any products, but then I'll show you how you can add the products. Okay, it's loading. We come into products, add product, then you see name, slug. So slug is generated from name, so name will say test, and then you generate, so it's generated from the name, and then you drag an image, then you put the image, you put the description, you put the price, you put the created ad, then you click publish, and then once you do that, it's going to be like this, right? So I already have some products that I have. So this one, let's just get rid of it. Okay, I have some products that I have. Okay, so perfect. Let's close this, close this. Okay, so in our utils, we now want a function that gets all the products, right? So let's go to the top, export async, get all products. Yeah, so just you can just shorten this to get products, then return a client dot fetch, then it's like this. Okay, then it's a grok. This is the grok command. Okay, perfect. So we get the ID, the created at the name, the slug, the image. Okay, then we get the description, then we get the price. Okay, but then for image, so there's a way that we get the image, which is not like this. And then there's a way that we get the slug, which is not like this. So for the image, we do it like this, because if we just do it like normal image, like what it was like right then, it would get us the actual, you know, the actual image in bytes, and then or the location of the image or the ID of the image, but we want the URL, right? And then for the slug, we want the slug.current, right? So that's what we want. So that's why we don't get it like in that kind of way, right? So now we want to get the products. So we import get products, and then we need to fetch the products on the server side. So const products, get products. Okay, perfect. Then here we save so that we have one card. We have one card, and then to know that the products was fetched successfully, right? We're going to map through the products, then send the. So if it was a success, we're going to have 8 cards, right? If it was successful, if there was an error, then okay, perfect. So it was a success. We're able to get the cards, and then let's see. Okay, perfect. So we have the cards, and then we're passing in the product. We go to the card. So let's just quickly do this card. So in the card, we destructure the product. Then here in the image, it's product dot image, but then you need to check. Then here it's product dot name. Then here is product dot description dot description. Okay, then here is product dot price. Save. Then hopefully everything works. Okay, let's save that. Let's see if it's compiling. It's compiled. Okay, so it's saying invalid source prop, hostname CDN. Okay, so what happens with Next.js when you're serving images? You need to add the image into the Next.js config file. You come here, and then here you say images. So here like this, images, then you add it. So we need to add this to this file, and then the images will be able to serve. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, go again, refresh, and then hopefully everything is working. Okay, whilst it loads, I can explain what we're doing. So now when we open this file, right, this is all happening on the server. When it opens this file, we're telling Next.js to get the products on the server. Get the products is this function, which is going into Sanity and getting the ID of the product, the created ad, the name, the description, the price, the image, and the slug, right? Once it gets those products, it's looping through the card that we created, passing in that product, and then here we're destructuring that product, then we're displaying the image, we're displaying the name, the description, and then the price. And then, yeah, once it loads, you should be able to see the products. Yeah, so yeah, it's compiling. You should be able to see. Okay, so what's next after this? We need to start adding those products. Okay, so the first thing, when you click the product, we need to be able to go to that product page, right? So that's where that slug comes in. Okay, it says compiled. Okay, and then you see it's now working. So the images take time to load. Yeah, because I was using very, very big images. Okay, so yeah, you see the titles, the description, and then the prices. They're now coming in. So we just need to wait for the images to load. And then yeah, we're now fetching successfully from our Sanity backend. And then yeah, this backend, remember, is on localhost 3000 admin. So this backend, when you host your application, this will be the admin panel that people will be using. So your e-commerce now is an admin panel. This is where you're going to be handling the orders. This is where you're going to be handling everything, right? And then you see our images are now coming in. Yeah, these are high quality images, so yeah, they will take time. Yeah, depending on your internet speed also, right? You know, some of you, if you have like fast internet. Okay, perfect. So you see, this is all coming from the database. Yeah, so on your side, you want to have these products. You just come add, then you add all the products. Yeah, it will take time. You just add the products, add the descriptions. I got the images on Unsplash, that website that I showed you. And then, yeah, we have our product. When we click these products, we need to be taken to a details page. So let's check if so let's close. Okay, we can leave these two. We come to details page, right? So that's not how we want the details page to be like. So the details page, we want it to be a slug, right? So how we do that, how we do like a slug in Next.js. So let's do like this. Let's copy all of this, then delete this file, the details file, right? But then we copied it, right? So we come here, then we create details. That's the spelling, right? Okay. Then we, inside we create a folder. We call it slug, right? Like this. So that's how you create a slug. So it's a folder with square brackets, and then in here page.js, and then we import everything back. Then let's see. Yeah. So here we just need to go in a level deeper on our imports, and then here it gives us something called params, which we need to destructure. We say const. We get the slug from the params, right? And then for now, let's just display the slug, right? We come into card. This is where we have access to the slug. Remember, it's product.slug. We have access to that from here. Remember, when we're getting the slug. So we come in here. Yeah, you don't need to understand what a slug is. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we get the link. Okay, let's just try to use it. I'm forgetting the import. Let's try to use it, then we can auto import. Yeah, perfect. Then we auto import that. Then it's like this, product or slug, but our route is not product, it's details, right? Then we come in and we close the link. We save that. So now when we click the card, it's going to take us to details with the slug, right? And then here, we're going to access the slug and we're going to display it. So we come back here. Let's check if it's refreshed. It's refreshed. Okay, so we click the product and then you see, we click the product and then here, this is the slug, water viewing mountain, right? That's the slug. We come here, water view mountain. We view that product in Sanity, and you see on Slug it says water viewing mountain. This is how we're going to fetch, right? So we come here, and then we get this product, right? So on this page, right, we need to then fetch this product. So we come here, and then we need to, so here we have get products. Now we need a new one, which is called get products by Slug, right? So it's going to be export, sync, get product by Slug, perfect. And then it's going to be a return client.fetch, type of product, current.slug, then slug, then we get ID, create a name, images, then return. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this is what we need. Then we get the product by slug. We go back to the page, we can close the card, and then here we import the get product by slug, and then here we delete this because this now needs to be a server-side call, so it needs to be an export default async, right? And then here is const product get product by slug. Then in details we pass in the product, then it's product, then we save this. So it means now we now have access to this product. Once we have access to this product, we want to display it in the details. So in the details we now have access to the product, but then yeah, the product comes in as an array. Then we go into our components, details, right? We destructure this product. So this is all happening on the server, so you can't see it as it is happening. You have to display it, right? So we have to go right displaying it to be able to see it, because it's all happening on the server. So there's no way like to be able for me to be able to show you as I'm coding it. You just code and then you hope that is correct, because it's all happening on the server. Product.name, okay, product.price, product.price, product dot then description, okay, save that. Then let's see if it got the stuff. Water view mountain, yeah, got the stuff. I think, yeah, it got the stuff, because yeah, you can see the title, the description, and the price, and then the image. So yeah, got the stuff. Now let's remove this slug here that's displaying in the corner. Perfect. So we visit this page, we get the slug. Using that slug, we get product by slug. Using this function, we get the product, we're passing it on to details, and then we're displaying the product. Okay, so that was a bit fast, but yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay, so the next part we're going to be implementing the cart. So to implement the cart, we're going to need global state. So for global state, we're using a package called zustand. Let me clear this. So you do npm install zustand, right? And then yeah, let's just wait for that to install. Okay, so zustand is a global state. We need global state to be able to use our cart, right? So let me just run our app again. Dev. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we no longer need this. Okay, so we come here. So let's say I add something to this cart. I click this button, add to cart, right? The cart is on another page, right? It's on a separate page. How does something which is on a separate page access that information? So we need something called global state, right? Let me see. Let me go on zustand and see if they, okay, so they don't have like a nice website where you can maybe explain, so you can see the visual like representation of state and how it works, how we can visualize it. Yeah, they don't have anything. That's okay. Yeah, so state is just something which is sitting above your whole application, and you can add to it, you can access it from any application. So that's what we need for this cart. We need to be able to add to this cart, remove from this cart, right, from this page, right, and then go to that page and the cart is still there. So that's what we need. So for that, we installed zustand, and then in the same file in the app, uh, we create a file called cart store.js. Inside here, we import, create, right, from zustand. Okay, so zustand gives us something called create, and then const use cart. Okay, so here for the store, because it's pretty, our store is pretty long. What we can do, okay, so what we can do is we can come into the code. So I'm going to share the code with you guys in the description. You can just copy and then we can go through it, like sort of like explaining how it's working. All right, just to save on time. And yeah, okay, so with zustand we create our cart store. So zustand is the easiest. So there's zustand, there's context API, there's redux, but then I found that zustand is the easiest one, right, to set up and use with Next.js. So we're going to have cart totals, and then cart items. Okay, and then so here we have functions. We have two functions, right? Add to cart, and then we have remove from cart, and then we have clear cart, calculate cart total, calculate. But then these are internal functions, right? So the external function that we're concerned with is remove from cart and add to cart. So add to cart, right? When we call, we're going to be calling this function like how we're just calling those utils to get product by Slack, to get users by email. That's how we're going to be calling this. So we're going to be calling add to cart, and then we pass in the product that we want to add and its quantity. Then what it's going to do is going to map through the existing products, right? And then it's going to try and find, right, if that product is existing, right? If that product is existing, instead of adding another product, it's going to increase the quantity, right? So let's say we're trying to buy a painting, right? Like we're trying to buy the Mona Lisa, right? It's like a fake painting. So we have like maybe 20 Mona Lisas, right? So you add the first Mona Lisa. You come back, you add the second one. We're not going to have two Mona Lisas in the cart, right? We're going to have one Mona Lisa, but then on quantity, it's going to say two, right? So that's what it's doing, right? If the new quantity is less than equal, remove the item from the cart, right? So this is for, you're going to see when this is working, okay? Then existing, if the product already exists, update the quantity, the new quantity, or else add the product, right? If the product doesn't exist, add it to the cart with the new quantity, right? Then remove from cart, or just filtering out that item that you want to remove. Okay, perfect. So this is working. Then we need to go to the details page. So in the details page, we need to import, not in the page as such, because the button is in the components. So we need to go into our details component, and then we need to import the use cart store. Import the use cart store. So in here we need to import the use cart store, and then where are we importing? We're importing from store. So you come here, you see use cart store. So we're importing that, and then we say const. So yeah, this is going to be a use, because we're going to use state for the form. Use state for the form. So whenever you're using state, it's no longer a server component, it's now a client-side component. Okay, just to get that out of the way. And then here it's const cart. equals use store cart. Then let's console log the cart to see if what we did was correct in setting up zustand. See if we don't get any errors. Am I running the server? Yes. Let's refresh. Okay, so we must see an empty array. Yeah, so this server 500 is for the favicon. Yeah, don't worry about that. Let's wait for that to load. Okay, want to display the cart. Yeah, once it loads, we might as well just continue. Yeah, so we're getting the cart from the use store. Then we also want to get, so we want to get that function, the add to cart. Is that the way? Add to cart, yes. And then yeah, we want a function called handle add to cart. So what does handle add to cart do? It adds the product and then it adds the quantity, right? And then we come here on the button. So when you click the button on click, it's going to handle add to cart, right? So when you click that button, it's going to handle add to cart, and then yeah, perfect. The quantity, let's see, yeah, then we get the empty, so it means it's working. Okay, then so that's good. Then we now need state for quantity. Okay, by default it's 1. Then we have our input here. The value is equal to quantity. Then on change, take the event, we set the quantity to the event dot target dot value. Yeah, this is just basic React. We come here, so instead of sending 1, we now send the quantity. Perfect. Then now let's inspect. Yeah, hopefully everything went well. Then let's check the cart. So if everything went well, when we click add to cart, okay, yeah, so there must be something wrong because it's not adding. Okay, let's go back. It's compiled cart, add to cart. Okay, we're no longer console logging the cart. Let's console log the cart. And then we see our cart now has something. Then you see here, this has been added with a quantity of 1. Let's increase the quantity. So let's say quantity is 3, add to cart. And then quantity is 3. Perfect. And then here for the input, let's, instead of type text, remember it's a number, because that might also affect in a way. Okay, perfect. And then here, let's reduce to back to 1. We add, then our quantity goes back to 1. So our cart is now working, which is good, right? So our cart is working, and then, which means now we can go to our header, and then we can now make this real, right? Right now it's fake, it's just showing 0 always, right? So we go to our header. Remember, in our cart, we have a function called calculate cart total. Then there's calculate cart total items. So that's what we need, total items. That's what we need, right? And then that's total items. That's, so we need to import the use. So you see how easy zustand is to use. There's no providers, there's no reducers, there's no calling actions. It's just giving you your actions, giving you your state. It's very simple, right? Const total items, state dot total items, perfect. Then, so yeah, this is what we want to display. We come here where it says 1, right? But then the way that we want to do this, right? If the total items, so what we want to do here is like this. Oh, also on the shopping cart, we want a link, right? When you click the shopping cart, we want a link that goes to the cart, right? We might as well just get that out of the way. Okay, so if there's nothing in the cart, right? So yeah, it was nice enough to just include that. Okay, just double checking. Okay, perfect. So if there's nothing in the cart, so if the cart is 0, it's going to show nothing. Else, if the cart has things in it, then it's going to show. So we come here, let's refresh. Okay, so you see what it says. Use ref only works in client components, right? So it means that it tried to render this on the server, because Next.js by default it renders things on the server. It wasn't able to because we're using something which is on the client, so we have to say use client, right? Tell it, hey, I'm using a client component, so don't try and do this on the server. So that's what we just told it, and then this error goes away, right? Okay, so yeah, it's cart plus the user. Once we add, then we get, yay, we get the 1, right? And then we increase quantity. It's still 1 because it's just to the same product, right? Perfect. Then if we click cart, we should get taken to the cart. But then there's nothing here because we haven't done anything on that page yet, right? Perfect. Okay, so we now need to go on the cart page, and then we now need to display what is in the cart. So go to the cart component, close the header, details, we no longer need this. Yeah, the store, we can leave it. We come to cart page. So on cart page, remember, we have these fake products that we're looping through. We no longer need those. So it's now import use cart store. And remember, once you're using cart store, it's now a client component, just so we don't run into that same error. Use cart store. Then here, let's just remove. We no longer need this. So it's const. Okay. Cart. Do we need the cart? Yeah, because we need to see the items in the cart. So it's cart. Okay, perfect. Then instead of products, it's now cart. Okay. Then perfect. So remember, we just have one thing in the cart, which is this, right? So we're good. And then yeah, it's product.quantity. Let's see what we named it here. So it's cart, updated cart. Quantity, so it's this. It's not the way that we're writing it here. There, perfect. Let's see. Then we get the quantity. So yeah, this is good. But then now, when we click this button, we need to be able to remove. Okay, so we come here. But then there's, yeah, we can do that first. So it's const remove from cart. Then yeah, then const handle remove from cart. Handle remove from cart. Then yeah, it takes in the product ID, then it removes it from cart. Then we need this function, and then we need to pass it to the trash can. Yeah, the trash can icon. So when you click that trash can icon, we need an arrow function inside here. Since it doesn't have native on click, then yeah, we need to handle remove product.id. But then it's not like this because the ID of the product is like this, then it's underscore ID, and then we save, right? So if we're correct, compiled, once we click here, it removes from the cart. Then when I click here, I want to go back to the home page. So let's go back to the header. Right, then header image. Let's see how I should do this. I want a link, but I don't know, should I do it around the image or around everything? So I think I should just do it around everything. Link, then once you press it, it goes here. Then here we close that link, save, and then also once you hover over it, I want a cursor of a pointer. So yeah, you get a cursor pointer. Once you click, you should go to the home page. Maybe I don't know why it's taking, yeah, it's taking its sweet time, maybe because the server is loading. Let's just fill up the cart, add to cart, go back to the home page, add to cart, then view the cart. Then you see, perfect. Now we need to display the images are wrong. Are we passing in the image in the cart? Let's check. So yeah, the image is a value that we're giving. So let's say it's now product dot image, save. Is it that easy? Okay, yeah, it's that easy. So it's done. It's done. Then okay, let's see. We need the total. We need to display the total. Then we need to display cut. So here we can say const total items in the cart, then const. So the cart, the beauty is the cart is coming with the cart total. So we don't have to, worry like, hey, how are we going to do the total? So here is div, build a nice div, and then yeah, trade my mind. Okay, cart total, and then checkout. But then we don't just want the checkout. We want, yeah, for now, let's just do this. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, total, yeah, then we have a total, we have a checkout. Perfect. Okay, but yeah, it's not looking as nice. Let's just make it look nice. Okay, so it's max. So this is for the checkout button. Yeah, it's max width of SM, then max auto space y. Okay, something like this. So it's in the okay, but we still need it to be a bit big. So we needed the button to be a width of full. Let's see if that makes any difference. Yeah, it's getting there. The text should be white. The text should be a bit large. Is there any text? The text should be large. Then I want the font to be semi-bold so that it becomes okay. Yeah, starting to come out. Okay, then yeah, total. Okay, let's just say 10 so that it doesn't look okay. And then the text is a bit too big, so I can say text MD. With text base, I don't remember. Yeah, this is much better. So we get the total. Or the total, I don't think it should be a flex. It's the total, and it should just be a space x of 4, something like this. Then text, we can just put LG like this. Then yeah, should be like this. Then Yeah, I think we can leave it like this. Checkout. Yeah, this should be good. We can remove from cart. As we remove, the total is changing. We remove, the total becomes 0. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. If you want to go back, you just press the home button. Then you're taken back to the home page. Yeah, I think this is good. Next part, we're going to be implementing Stripe. So we want, when you're on the cart, yeah, so it's just going to be simple. Yeah, nothing fancy. You can customize on your own. For now, we're just going to have a small form here. You fill in your details, you pay. Once you pay, um, we create an order here, and then yeah, it won't be too complicated. So yeah, don't tune out yet. You made it this far. Let's just keep going. Going to implement Stripe. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to shut down the server, give it a break, npm install. So we need 3 packages. So add stripe / react dash stripe dash js. Yeah, I hope I don't make a mistake. Then add stripe, okay, / stripe dash js. Yeah, so the one with react, then there's the one with, so it's react dash stripe js stripe / stripe js. Then there's the normal stripe. Okay, so we need these 3 packages. Okay, so whilst they install, head over to Stripe, create an account. You come to this, then you click developers, then you come where it says API keys. Okay, then we get this publishable key. So in your env, I'm going to show you how you write it. So you come here. Okay, done. npm run dev. Okay, so that was quick. So we come here in our env. Okay, that's running. Let's just reload our server. Okay, so yeah, it's next underscore public underscore stripe. Okay, is the stripe publishable key. So this is the one that you can show everyone. Then there's the Next.js secret key. Okay, so you come here, the publishable key, click to copy. So this is the one you can show everyone. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to show you. I'm not going to bother hiding, because after the tutorial I'll just delete these things. We'll save. Okay, so we now have our Next.js publishable key, and then our Stripe secret key. Okay, that's done. So yeah, our server is running. Let's just check. Yeah, perfect. Everything is running good. We close this. Okay. What we want to do now in our cart. Okay, let's start with the backend. So with Stripe, Stripe needs to run on a server, right? So we need to create a folder called API. So there's no way to run Stripe without running it on the server. Yeah, it's most likely security issues. Route.js. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we import our next response from next server. Okay, once we import that, then we say const stripe. Okay, that was a mistake. Const, let's just command B to get more space. So our stripe, and then equals to new stripe, and then so it's not this because we saved it as another name in the env. So we want the secret key, copy the variable name so that we get it right. Yeah, because if we make mistakes, then yeah, some of these errors you'll be like, hey, what's happening? But it was just small issues. Then async function, then it's going to be a post request. Then we take the request, right? Then in the request, we want the data. Then we await the request, right? .json. Yeah, so this is the new way of doing it. Then we say const amount. Since that's an amount, the amount is in the data, right? Then we say try. We're now making a request to the Stripe API. Then it has a payment intent. The payment intent, we have to create the payment intent. The payment intent takes an amount in a currency, which is usually USD. Okay, so let's just do it properly. An amount. So here we're converting it to a number because we don't care, like maybe it's going to come in as a string, so we just want to do our due diligence and just check, right? And then here we catch. So this is going to be any error that happens, we're going to catch it, and then we're going to return next response dot json. Then it's going to be a status 400, something like this. And then here we're going to return the next.js.json 200, and then we're not returning data, but we're returning an intent, and then that's going to be the payment intent, and then we open that, and then we return the client secret. Okay, yeah, so let's go back. Yeah, so save again. So this works. We come to the, so here we have the cut component. We don't want that. We want the cut page, right? So yeah, we open the cut page, because inside the cut page we want to set up the stripe. So we say import, then we say load stripe. Okay, then we say import. So this is just a way so that Stripe, they do everything for us. We're just loading it so that they can help us with this. And then it's next stripe public stripe publishable key, just to verify if that's how we saved it. Let's just copy the way that we saved it. We close it here, we paste it in here, save. Okay, perfect. And then we need to wrap the cart in the elements. Okay, save that. Then now we go back to the Stripe component, to the cart component that's been wrapped in Stripe. Import card element. So card element from, okay, then we need to import use elements. Then we need to import use stripe hook. Okay. and we need to import those functions. Yeah, use stripe, then elements. Perfect. And then we need to find a place where we can put this card element, right? This will just show us if what we've done so far is correct. So I would say, yeah, we need a div. Yeah, something like this. Then if we've done everything correct, so it's telling us that this needs to create context works in client components. Let's go back and check if our card is using client. It's not. So let's use client here. Use client, save that, and hopefully everything that we did was correct. Yeah, perfect. So what we did was correct. Then you can see, yeah, we can enter the card number, but then everything is so, yeah, I don't like the design. Everything is so close together. Margin top, margin bottom, 6. Okay, something. Okay, so inside here, let's just say margin bottom 2. See how that looks. Okay, yeah, it's barely noticeable, but okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, that's good. And then once you fill in the card, you need to hit this button which says checkout. Then checkout, it does what's known as an on submit, and then we need to define what this on submit means. Like when someone clicks on submit, we need to define what are they doing, what does the on submit mean. Okay, so I think we can do it here. Const on submit. Then yeah, let's see. Okay, so if it's not equal to stripe, return now. Okay, so if stripe has not been initiated and if elements not been initiated, then return now, right? But then yeah, we're not going to have this value yet because elements, okay, we're going to need to get card element. So it's going to be const card element, right? No small c. Then it's going to be elements, okay, dot get element, okay, then we want to get card. Okay, so now it's if not stripe, but then it's not even like this, so let's just delete this because we need a try, and then we need a catch. Yeah, perfect. So inside this try, the first thing is if, right, not stripe or not card element, then return now. But then this can be one line since it's just returning everything in one line. It doesn't need to be return now. Then yeah, that can be done. Then yeah, const. Remember, we're getting back, so we're now going to call the backend. So we forgot to install one more package, npm install axios. So whilst Axios installs, yeah, let's just say import Axios from Axios. We're going to call that backend that we created, yeah, this route. We're going to call it from Axios. So we're going to say await. Yeah, I think Axios is done because it's very small. npm run dev await Axios dot post to Stripe, and then yeah, something like this. But then we need to send, we're not sending amount, we're sending data, and then the data is going to have an amount, and the amount is going to be cut total to, yeah, just cut total, I think is fine. And then you can console.log the data we get back. Okay, yeah, we can console log the data that we get back. And then after that, we need to send this data to confirm the payment. So const res equals await card data dot intent payment method is card, then card element. Okay, then const status, so it gives us back a status, and then yeah, this is what we console log at the end. So status will either be success. Okay, so let's explain what we're doing here. I think I was just coding without explaining. So once we hit submit, we send the cut amount to the backend. The backend, yeah, we open the amount, then we send that amount to Stripe. Stripe initiates the payment, checks if there's money in the card, gets the money from the card. Then here we get back an intent to say, okay, I want to pay, and then here we have to confirm the payment. Was the payment successful or not? So we're now asking Stripe, and then here they will tell us if it was successful or not. So let's just check it out. Let's put some stuff in the cart and then let's check it out if it's working. Okay, let's see if it's compiled. Compiling cart, so it's still compiling. Yeah, the issue is though all the Stripe stuff that we added, it needs to compile. So let's just give it some time to do that. And then if the payment is successful, we should be able to see it here in payments. So let's send something that we know the amount so that we can check if it was successful. Let's see. Yeah, it's taking too long. Yeah, with Next.js, most of these things, when you add any UI library or any, because we added Stripe, React Stripe, and so all of those things are like UI libraries, is adding some UI to your code. It then takes time to load, but then after that first time that it loads, then yeah, you're good. And then you see our site is mobile responsive. Yeah, let's check. Yeah, it's compiled. Perfect. Let's just okay. Let's go back to the home page. Then let's add a few things to the cart. Okay. Yeah, let's add this fire painting. Okay, add to cart. Go back to cart. Then card details. So Stripe has a card that you can use for payment for testing. So it's 4242424242. So just put 42 until it ends, and then here you put a date which is in the future. Then for these numbers you can put any numbers that you want, and then check out. Okay, then here Axios error. Let's check what the error message was. Config data amount request 500, so it couldn't find the server. Let's check. So it's API Stripe. Let's check here. It's API Stripe. Let's come back to route, return next JSON. Let's console log. Console.log the amount. Let's come back to our cart page. Let's come back to our cart page. So post API Stripe seems correct. Okay, let's just check. Localhost. So it's localhost 3000 / API / Stripe. Stripe is not defined. So I think, yeah, so we're now getting the issues why that code is not running. We need to import Stripe. Okay, so yeah, we need to import Stripe from Stripe. And then let's see if that runs. So if it says cannot get, it must say something like cannot get or something like that, then we know that it's now running. Okay, let's try it. Okay, perfect. Succeeded. So now our payment has succeeded. We go here to Stripe, we go to payments. And then 490 has succeeded, 24 November. This is 24 November. Yeah, so these are all test payments I was doing and I was testing the system. Yeah, perfect. So our payments now succeeded. So let's go back to the header. So you see next to the header here, let's go to React icons, track. So we need an icon for shipping, for the order page. Okay, so FA track, yeah, this is good. Yeah, so in the header, let's import the icon, FA track, and then let's use it. So it's going to be FA track. We come here, we take the link. Okay, we want it after the shopping cart, but before the user, something like this. And then here is going to be FA track. Then when you click it, it should go to the order page, because that's the page we're now doing next. Just a bit of a side track. Okay, so the status was a success. So after the status is a success on the payment, let's go back. So after the status is a success, what we want to do is we want to write to the Sanity backend. We want to write the order, right? So we want to take the whole cart and then we want to put it into the Sanity backend. And then why do we want to do that? Because we want the people at that own the shop to be able to see the order. So they see the order, they deliver the order, they see if we've paid, if we've not, they deliver the order. Once they deliver the order, We want to be able to see that on the order page. Was the order delivered? Have we paid? Yeah, so it's like an order management, but a very basic one. Then yeah, this is the order page. Let's just fix that issue. So here we want the margin left of 4. And then yeah, we just want a small space. Yeah, perfect. We just want a small space there. Okay, back at status. To inform us whether the order was a success or not, we need to perform an action based on that. So if Stripe says, hey, the order was a success, the person is paid, we want to save that information to Sanity database. If it was a failure, we need to display information to say, okay, the payment was not successful. Okay, so we need to create an order schema. Yeah, so to save time, I just did that. So we create a schema. We come to Sanity file. We create an order schema. We call it order with a title of orders, type document. It has a name, it has an email, quantity, price, created at, paid. So paid is a Boolean value. It can either be a true or false. Have you paid on this or have you not paid? It has a name of delivered, which is a Boolean. Has that product been delivered or not? Okay. Then in our Sanity utils, this order, we need to be able to create it. So this is the code for that. So this code, it takes in the person's email and then the cart. So it takes in the whole cart and then it's going to loop through the cart, saving it to the database. So remember, our cart has several products. So we loop through all these products one by one, saving them into the orders with your email so that we can fetch them later on, right? Then yeah, we save them, right? And then when you go to the order page, we need to fetch your orders. So we get your order by email. So we say, hey, what's your email? You give us the email, then we get your orders, right? I hope that makes sense. We come here, we can see the order is already there. We try to create an order, then you see all the fields. Then it makes more sense. Name, email, quantity, price, then paid or delivered, right? Perfect. So now, I think order we can remove this. We can remove this. We go to cart. So on cart, we say if the status is equals to succeeded, right? What do we want to do if the status is equals to succeeded? Then here we import the function create order. Okay, so if it's a success, we want to create the order, const email. So we also want to get the email. So remember how we were able to fetch the email. So we need to get the email from clerk. So that will be import use user. Okay, so that's not from Sanity. Import use user from clerk. Okay, so clerk gives us this thing is called a use user, and then this thing called a use user, it has a user that we can use. Okay, then that user we're able to get the email, because remember, to be able to create an order we need an email. So const email is equals to user dot email addresses. Okay, then email address, right? And then if, because the email might not be able to get it, yeah, so if not email, we return, right? If it's email, we say const res, then we send the email, and then we send the cart because that's what it's expecting us to send. And then yeah, if the res, we want to do something here. So if the res is successful, we want to import use router because we want to navigate to the orders page. Use router from, so it's no longer next router, so it changed. It's now next navigation, right? And then we initialize it. Then yeah, if it's a success, it's router dot push, not success. We want to push to order page, and then yeah, if it's a failure, we want to tell. So if it's a success, we just push. But then if it's a failure, we want a way to be able to tell the user, hey, your payment failed. So we can just alert payment failed. Refresh that. Yeah, hopefully this works. So let's check it out. Yeah, it's refreshing. So we might need to add something new to the cart and then just check if it works. Okay, then yeah, let's get ready to open the orders page. So on the orders page, orders. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just, okay, let's go back home. Add this $15 book painting. So let's just add 2 of them. Cart, $30. That's correct. 4242424242 24. Then here, just any number that you want. Then okay. Yeah, so we need a loading to see that it's doing something because right now we have no way of knowing. Let's open our terminal and see. Okay, so it must have successfully. Let's check our orders. And then yeah, quantity of 2. So yeah, it worked. And then now we're on the order page. So we need to just add the loading to see, okay, yeah, it's working, rather than just, you know, waiting and guessing if it's working. Okay, so now we need to import use user, use user from clerk. We need to import, remember we have a function for getting orders by email, right? And then since this is going to be a server component, we can use the current user. Yeah, so if you read the documentation from, so yeah, let's just delete this. So it now knows that it's a server function. Then let's do an export default async function order. Let's remove these products that we had. Then let's get the user. So this is a server side. Call, await. So this is all going to happen on the server. Current user. Then yeah, if it's not user, we don't return now because on the server there's no such. We return an empty div. Return div which says not found. Okay, then if it's there, we say const orders, right? Then we get order by email. Then we come here, then it's orders, the name, product.id. Let's check. It's not product ID, it's product underscore ID. Name, QTY, right? Paid, then status. So it's not going to be paid status like that. It's going to be like this because it's a boolean, and a boolean you won't be able to display it like that. So we have to, yes, like this, right? So we have to say product dot paid. If it's paid, we display paid. If it's not, then we display. Okay, same for this. It's going to be product dot delivered. Then if it is, then yeah, then let's just see if it works. Then perfect. You see our Boston Public Library product, yeah. Quantity we got 2, and we paid, right? If we want to get the price, we can. So product, yeah, we can just say before paid, we can say price, so that we see how much it was costing. So quantity, then price, save that, and then let's see what we get. So 50, then we put a $sign here. Yeah, perfect. And then not delivered. So the person working on the back end, once they deliver your service, they just come here where it says delivered, they click it, then they say publish, right? Then on this side, when you come in, it should say it's been delivered, so it says delivered, right? So yeah, I think our system is now good. Let's do one more test. Okay, done. So I come in, I'm like, oh, this is a nice painting. I come in, okay, come back, then I say, okay, this is a nice one. I add it, I go to my cart, okay, 800, okay, I fill in my card details, okay, 24, then I click the checkout, okay, then I wait for it to process the payment. Then once it process the payment, it goes to the order page, right? Then I check the order page, and then on the order page we get the 2 paintings that we bought, the one for 300, then the one for 500. We paid, but we haven't delivered. And then to check that we actually paid, we come here, we refresh Stripe, and then we should see a payment for 300 and a payment for 500. Okay, and then once we see that payment, then we know that we have successfully paid. Okay, 800. So we paid. We can see that 800 was paid, and then here, not delivered, not delivered. And then they come in, they come into the admin, and they're like, okay, let's see, let's deliver their product. They come in, they see that coding with Douglas bought this painting for 500. Did we deliver to him? Yes, we delivered to him. Then we publish. Okay, this one we haven't delivered yet. And then on his side, you can see if it was delivered. Then you can see, yeah, it was delivered, but then this one hasn't been delivered yet. Okay, then yeah, we can log out, we can see the orders, we can go back to cart, we can go back to shopping, we can do whatever we want with the system. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please comment on the future videos that you'd like to see. Comment on what type of content I can make. Just subscribe. It keeps me motivated to keep making more videos. Thank you guys for watching.